Hello, my name is Tyler Norton, and today I'll be talking to you about my philosophy of early childhood education. A little bit about myself and my background is that I've been helping my mom out with her home daycare ever since I was a little kid, probably started around the age of 5. I have worked as a part-time babysitter slash nanny for a family of 4 for a summer. I have 2 years work experience in the child care center at Lifetime Fitness, working with kids ranging from 3 months old all the way to 11 years old. I mainly worked with 2 and 3 year olds and also taught gymnastics classes for kids 3 to 11. I also worked as a full-time PCA slash babysitter for the summer going into my senior year of high school. Finally, I worked with kids all the way from 6 to 16 years old as part of our adaptive gymnastics program, in which we coach kids with different disabilities how to do gymnastics. I'm also certified in both CPR and first aid. I haven't always wanted to be a teacher. However, I've always loved working with kids and being a leader. I have always loved science, and it has come rather naturally to me. I've always been one to help teachers out, whether that meant teaching fellow students, explaining how something works, or helping them with any issues they have. Following this, I started considering teaching as a possible career path. Along with that, I started working in childcare, and I loved it. Junior year, I went on a job shadow day with my gymnastics coach, Mr. Marino, who was an 8th grade science teacher, and I instantly knew that teaching is what I wanted to do. I wanted to not only educate my students, but make learning fun like he does. I want to assist my students in finding their passion and prepare them for life. I want to change the lives of the students for the better and help mold our future. Over the course of this semester, we have learned about many different philosophers. The two who I feel have philosophies that closely resemble mine are John Locke and Johann Heinrich Pestalozzi. Locke believed that play is important to students' learning and that students should be provided with opportunities to practice and learn and should not be given many rules. Pestalozzi believed that schools should alternate between lessons and games. He also believed that programs should encourage development of children's natural skills and talents. Sensory learning was meant to help develop better observation skills and encourage the use of language to explain one's understanding. Although the role of a teacher is very important, it can be broken down into these 5 parts. A teacher is meant to educate and inform students. They're meant to teach, use certain skills and curriculum such as math, English, science, or history. They are also meant to provide life lessons for inside and outside of the classroom. A teacher is meant to be a role model that students can look up to for academic or life advice. And they are meant to provide students with the necessary steps to move forward and succeed. Now that we know what the role of a teacher is, let's take a look at what makes a good teacher. A good teacher provides a safe and healthy learning environment, unique, creative, and engaging lessons and curriculum, useful and relevant assignments and activities for their students. What a good teacher does is they foster growth and development within the classroom. They encourage and support the exploration of students' interests. They also help whenever needed. They take care of students' needs. They take notice and incorporate the interests of their students into whatever they are doing at the time. What a good teacher is kind, caring, and compassionate. They are flexible, fair, and understanding with their students. And finally, they are a role model within the community that leads by example. Now that we know what makes a good teacher, let's take a look at some of my teaching role models. On the left, we have real-life teacher
Mr. Marino, who is an 8th grade science teacher at my local middle school. Mr. Marino is a great teacher who loves to make learning fun. He often risks embarrassing himself or making a fool out of himself just to make the kids engage with what they're learning about. He often has fun experiments and lessons to try to keep the students engaged and wanting to learn more. He also stays in the loop with what kids are interested in and tries to use that to build a better relationship with his students. And on the right, we have the fictional character of Mr. Turner, the English teacher from the show Boy Meets World. Mr. Turner had an unorthodox approach to teaching. For instance, on the first day, they were meant to read the Odyssey. However, instead, he gave the students a copy of the Odyssey and a copy of an X-Men comic book, telling them to read both and have a discussion the next day about the similarities in order to prove that what they were learning in class is just like what they enjoy outside of class. He also had a lot of respect for his students. For instance, he would call them Mr. or Miss to establish that they were equals in his mind. I believe students learn best when lessons and curriculum is relevant to them. Lessons are or are made to be interesting to them. They work hands-on and gain knowledge and experience. The environment is designed to encourage learning. Different learning stations are around the room. They are encouraged and supported. They enjoy what they are learning about. Given a good role model, given the opportunity to try different things, given freedom to explore, and when it is okay to fail. Which leads me to how I will teach. For me, I want to make learning fun for the students. What I call tricking them into learning. Whether that means being a character or doing something big to capture their attention. I also believe in hands-on learning, so doing stuff like science experiments, drawing, or going on field trips. Also, learning through play is very important, and I would try to get everyone involved. We would have individual, partner, and group activities. And finally, I would want my students to explore and discover on their own. Here's an example of one of my activities that I would do with my students. This is the dinosaur excavation activity. When learning about something like dinosaurs, I would make a little excavation kit for each student. They would get their own kit and get to dress up and pretend to be an archaeologist. They get to dig for, find, and keep their very own dinosaur fossil. And finally, I would make a huge excavation stone or kit for the whole class to work on together. The video on the right takes you through the step-by-step process of how you can make your very own dinosaur excavation kit. Another very important part about a class is the classroom itself. And so I want my classroom to be a positive area with places to relax, a feeling of safety. I want to have essential materials for students to succeed, materials and decor that promotes creativity and learning. I want there to be space to play and also space to focus on learning. That being said, you must leave room to adapt. With the rapidly increasing diversity within classrooms today, you must leave room to adapt. The classroom should be a suitable environment that can be fully utilized and accessed by any and all students. Any necessary accommodations or adaptations necessary will be provided for students. Additionally, cultural diversity should be fairly and equally represented in the classroom. This can be done through lessons or activities exploring diversity in cultures, race, religion, and ability. A great example of how this can be done would be holding a festival of culture, where students and their families can come in and share a bit more about their culture. They can wear traditional clothing, bring in some traditional food, and share anything important within their culture. Which brings us to our community. There are many activities that you can do in order to build a stronger community, such as the Festival of Culture. You could have a school fair where you can have games and families can come in and have fun. You can have field trips where the students are able to gain a better understanding of the community around them. And you can have bake sales where you can raise money for the community. You can also help give your students a better understanding of the greater community, such as other students, whether that be in their grade, in different grades, different schools, or different towns. You can also take notice of some of the community workers within your community, such as doctors, nurses, chefs, soldiers, teachers, dentists, mail carriers, bus drivers, firefighters, custodians, trash collectors, librarians, and farmers. And so finally, to sum it all up, I want my students to be excited about learning and want to learn more. I want to provide my students with the opportunities to explore their interests. I want my classroom to be a safe space that fosters learning and creativity. And I want to help my students achieve their goals and set new ones, no matter how big or how small. Thank you.